Oh baby, it's time. The Hell House LLC movies have been some of my favorite movies to cover, so it only makes sense that we continue with the third installment, Lake of Fire. And a lot of you were divisive on this one. Some say this is the best one, others saying this is the worst one in the whole series. I remember this one being good, right? By the way, this movie was voted on in a poll on my community post tab. I'll be doing polls from time to time, so if you ever want to have any input on what movies I cover, head over there. With all that being said, let's see what horrifying scares the Abaddon Hotel has in store for us this time. Let's get into it. We start off with some text on the screen. It's been almost 10 years since the Hell House incident. Damn, time is flying. After the disappearance of Mitchell and the gang, the Abaddon Hotel was set to be demolished. By the way, they don't specify Mitchell or anyone else from Hell House 2. It just says after the unexplained disappearance of an investigation team. Damn, put some respect on Jessica and them. Anyway, right before it was set to be demolished, it was purchased by one Russell Wynn. The same Russell Wynn whose company had put together the footage from Hell House 2. Yeah, he's one of the richest men in the country, by the way, who has a show called Insomnia, an interactive play that you walk through and see right before your eyes. This movie will go over the events that occurred leading up to the opening night of Insomnia. We hear once again from Robert Lyons, an author who appeared in the first Hell House movie. He informs us that a woman named Vanessa Shepard is taking over for Morning Mysteries. Damn, then they got rid of my girl Susie? Production always taking the fine ones. But it turns out Vanessa was invited to do an all-access behind-the-scenes episode for Insomnia. So once again, we'll be finding ourselves in the Abaddon Hotel. Oh, how I missed you so. Shoot me now. Oh yeah, we're coming right out the gate. I hate this guy. Gregory Sanfik is his name, and he's your standard everything's about me diva theater kid. He's also oblivious as fuck. I'll get to that though. On the contrast, we meet one of my favorites. Well, favorite is a strong word. Let's say tolerable. Jane Maloney. She's also a little on the stuck up side, but she means well. I definitely could tolerate her more than Gregory here. Oh, by the way, Insomnia is a twist on the story of Faust, an old European legend about a man who sells his soul to the devil for unlimited knowledge and worldly pleasures. Vanessa asks everyone if they've seen the Hell House documentary. Our boy Max here is pretty stoked about it. Jane says she never watched it because it sounds like one of those found footage horror movies, and that's not really her thing. Gotta love it when the movie tries to be clever. However, the worst offender here is Gregory. Vanessa asks him if he's seen the movie, and he replies with bits and pieces. Okay, so you skimmed it? Sure, whatever. Then she asks him if anything disturbed him about it, and he responds with, like what? He's British, by the way. And she goes down a laundry list of things that have occurred since and after the initial Hell House incident. And he looks at her like she just spoke a foreign language he's never heard. Why has no one besides Max here done any research on this place? As soon as Russell comes up to me and says, hey, we're doing Insomnia on the Abaddon Hotel this year, my immediate response will be, oh, that place where all the deaths and disappearances happened? And that will be the end of the conversation. I quit, get an understudy. Y'all can FaceTime me while it's going on and I can yell through the phone like, run, bitch! Run! She asked him even more questions, like have you heard of any of the names that disappeared in the Abaddon Hotel? Mitchell Kavanaugh, Brock Davies. They went missing last year after being guests on Murder Mysteries. Once again, blank face. What is happening? Are you not interested? Are you concerned? What is this stupid look on your face? Is this what those out-of-touch celebrities look like when they found out the world isn't rainbows and sunshine? Yeah, Gregory is the designated do for this video. In other words, he's my least favorite so far. Moving on, Vanessa states that she had no interest on doing an episode in the Abaddon Hotel, but once she heard Russell was involved, her interest was piqued. And while listening to these interviews, we can obviously tell that something terrible went down on the opening night of Insomnia. Seems like there's something more going on here. But no need to guess because they straight up flash edit the hysteria of opening night. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this. I get they're trying to mirror the first Hell House. We see what happens first and then watch what happens leading up to it. But the charm of that in the first film is that a lot of it could be left up to the imagination. We saw a lot of what was going on, but it just brought up more questions. Whereas we're 3 films in now. We know for a fact that the Abaddon is haunted and possesses demonic spirits that can and will kill you. So showing us all of this doesn't bring up any questions. We can see that Tully's hooded goons are on the loose attacking civilians. Anyway, Vanessa is giving us an intro and halfway through she laughs. I'm getting sick of these non-believers in these movies. Yes, once again we have a person who's not really sold on the whole haunted house thing. Oh, you're so original. I like Jessica better. She gives us a background on Russell here, being the founder of Wynn Media, of course. He also made his first million by 25. Damn, I'm 26. What the hell have I been doing with my life? While also building his media empire, his thing seems to be live interactive shows. Most recently, Insomnia. We also meet Jeff Stone, head of operations for Russell Media. Vanessa wants to meet Russell himself, but he's busy, so Jeff takes her on a tour of the hotel. Mind you, she's scared to go in here. So you can laugh when it comes to demonic possessions and ghosts, but when it's time to head in yourself, you're hesitant. So are we believers? Are we non-believers? You gotta give me something to work with here, Vanessa. Jeff says they've been here for 3 weeks, and the scariest thing is the asbestos. Called it. And once again, we keep getting these glitchy flashbacks from the first Hell House. Like when all the Hell House stuff is laid out on the front lawn, which, why haven't they thrown any of this away yet? I don't see why you would still be holding on to this stuff, especially if you're doing renovations. And it happens another time when they go to the winery since Russell replaced all the bottles in there with his label. I don't know why these flashbacks are necessary. If I'm watching the third installment in a series, you could safely assume I've seen the first and second one. Vanessa thinks she saw something while walking through one of the set pieces, and Jeff calls that Abaddon eyes. You think you see something in the corner of your eye, or it feels like you're being watched, but it's just your mind playing tricks on you. Really wish that was the case. I mean, you can imagine how many souls have gone missing here. The amount of spirits in here watching you at all times, gives me the heebie-jeebies. They head into the bar area where we meet another character named Harvey. Harvey, and then our man of the hour comes on the screen, Russell Wynn himself. And I don't know how to feel about him. He seems like your average rich douchebag, but he also has a charm to him. It's the strangest thing, but I can't explain it. They gather everyone together so Vanessa can let everyone know she's filming everything. She also gives them mini camcorders to record their behind the scenes shenanigans so they can use it for the episode. Gregory then makes a joke saying, well, what if you see a ghost? You probably offended every British person watching this. Everyone starts bullying Gregory for being a pretentious D-bag, and I'm here for it. Then for some reason Vanessa heads down to the basement? Why? Earlier you didn't even want to step foot into the building. Now all of a sudden you have the courage to go down to what's rumored to be the most haunted area in the whole place. Also love how they completely cleaned out everything, but somehow these fucking clowns are still here in those same shackles that Melissa was hung up by. And don't think I didn't notice. There's only 2 clowns here. A specific one is missing. How peculiar. Speaking of which, Vanessa's cameraman Louis also plays the clown. He's the literal guy in the suit. I didn't even know that until I googled the cast of the movie. Jane walks into one of the rooms looking for the guys and they scare her with one of the clown mannequins. Ah, subtle foreshadowing. Also the dialogue here is extremely bad.
Come on, guys. That's fucked up.
I know.
Why am I That's sexist. That's sexism.
This is giving me gallows flashbacks. We check back in on Russell having a meeting with Jeff and Harvey, and what is this? Is that blood? Why is there mysterious red stains on the table, and more importantly, why is everyone so casual about it? Jeff says that all of Russell's banks called and asks if he should be worried about it, and Russell is very mysterious in this scene. He's answering questions with questions and never really gives a direct answer, especially when it comes to the mystery package he receives from Father Paulus, a priest from one of the nearby churches. He explains that the demon that's been terrorizing the town of Abaddon has been saying one phrase over and over again, a specific phrase, est aperta porta. We first saw this phrase in Hell House 2 when Mitchell and the gang went into the hotel for their first and ultimately last time. And I remember totally being extremely elated when he spoke of finding the gate to hell. Although we could theorize that the gate isn't completely open yet, as that would mean literal hell on earth. But once it is open, no mortal man can close it. It will have to be an angel sent from God himself. We then cut to Vanessa and Russell walking through the backfields. Vanessa then asks Russell why he moved Insomnia from the city out to the Abaddon, since he hasn't told anyone his reasoning for doing so. But right before he's about to give an answer, or not, Harvey calls him the wardrobe. Damn it, we were so close. They also find Brock's planchette out here, but the weirder part is that neither one of them know what BD means, which leads me to believe that the Hell House 2 footage hadn't been released yet, because you literally said his name earlier in the movie. If that footage had already been seen by the public, they would know where this came from. Also, is that Molly's car? Has that just been sitting here this whole time? That's morbid as hell. During one of the rehearsals, we learned that Russell does have rules for the hotel. No one is allowed to go in there after dark, which is smart, but not, because intelligence goes out the window when you're having a drunk bonfire. Speaking of which, oh my god, this dialogue. It's like if you put 4 people in a room that have never had a social interaction in their life and then gave them a script and told them to memorize it.
You go basement and back. Same stakes. Free drinks on me.
Done.
Russell finds out. Are you gonna tell him?
Also, I think all these B movies have the same vocal and facial expression coaches, because what is this? Anyway, they're discussing something about a dare. Someone goes to the hotel basement and back. No one wants to do it, so Jane is the one to volunteer herself. See, this is exactly why I don't drink. You start getting dared to do crazy shit and all of a sudden you're in a demonic hotel getting your booty taken.
Out of pocket for that shit.
I don't know how she's okay with doing this. This place is creepy as fuck at night. One of the mannequins she passes by arms move and the Abaddon tune starts playing. This is probably the scariest and coolest scene in the movie, and it's not even close. As Jane gets to the top of the stairs, she turns the camera around on herself, and you can see the entire Hell House crew behind her. This is so creepy, yet so cool. I don't know why I love this scene so much, but it just shows that 1, no soul ever leaves this place. They're all still here, every last one of them. I always wondered though, are they conscious of this? Like, do they know their souls are being used to kill people? Or is it simply the demon using their faces, parading their likeness around? Either way, it's good to see them again, even under the circumstances. Also, Jane is drunk as hell, so she doesn't even notice this. She's just being a goofball while the hardest indie band album cover is going on behind her. Anyway, she heads out into the basement and, wait a minute, what the hell is he doing here? You weren't there before. Besides the point, this is probably the creepiest / scariest part of the movie. The moment she kisses this clown and the other one next to it is staring right at her, and its neck proceeds to follow as she backs away. Yeah, no, when I first saw this, I was under the blanket. It kind of gets ruined afterwards though, because when she sees the clown standing up, she like screams in lowercase. I mean, if you were going for a bird cry, that's spot on. Now, give her the benefit of the doubt, she was drinking, although she is an actor pretending to be drunk, which means she just naturally screams like this. Anyway, she goes to run up the stairs. I don't know if the door is locked or she just gives up halfway through, but she sits here for a little while. Like, it stays on this frame for a good minute until Max and Gregory find her. We cut to another meeting between Russell, Harvey, and Jeff, and Russell is rightfully pissed because Jane went into the hotel after hours. In fact, she was so spooked she didn't even show up to rehearsals. Russell proposes they blame it on a prank, nip the situation in the bud before a narrative gets pushed and the whole thing gets out of hand. We cut to an interview with Max, and the way this guy talks and his movements is just off-putting.
Can massive head trauma lead people to do some crazy stuff? Maybe.
Like, what are you, a fucking bobblehead? But he says he's known Russell for 5 years, and after the car crash, he changed. See, Russell was in an extremely bad car crash back in 2008, and was almost pronounced dead, hence the scar on his face. This will be important later on. We cut to Max, Gregory, and Isabel talking about the situation with Jane, and once Max and Gregory leave, she heads inside and she runs into Sarah? What are you doing here, Miss Lady? You're looking good. Still rocking that face wound, I see. I mean, we can stitch it up, nothing a little makeup can't fix. She motions for Isabel to come closer and walks out of frame. And Isabel does what? Follows her. Yes, you get a cookie. Anyway, she gets to the room and it's a person under a sheet. The door slams and Isabel turns around and Sarah appears right in front of her. We also get this weird shot of her in the corner. It's like an abrupt switch from Sarah being right in front of her, and then it just cuts to her in the corner looking like she's patiently waiting for the bus. The editing in this movie is its worst enemy, I swear. Once again, we cut to another meeting with Russell, Harvey, and Jeff. Russell offered Isabel more money, but unlike Jane, she did not stay. Yeah, she straight up denied that and quit. Good on Isabel. I mean, she's gonna have trauma for the rest of her life, but at least she'll be alive to tell the tale. Harvey is worried something bad will happen, even saying it's starting to feel like Hell House. They ignored the signs and look what happened to them. Which is a good point, but we'll see later on that this is nothing like Hell House. For better or for worse. And even creepier, they show us photos that Isabel took on her social media. And something's a little off. How off? Like people being in the photos that aren't alive type of off. Oh shit, yeah, that's pretty off. Matt can be seen looking at her in the wine room. Tony can be seen behind her in the basement. And in the attic, you can see Alex's hanging body right behind her. Now, like I said, this is creepy. However, did you not look at any of these before you posted them? Maybe you can chalk it up to her not seeing it when she took the photo and then it magically appears once it's uploaded, but the movie doesn't imply that. No one in the movie implies that. I just pulled that out of a fucking hat. That's how fast you can come up with a half-assed explanation on how she possibly posted this many photos and didn't notice any of this. We cut to Louis and Vanessa, and Louis is trying to fix the zoom lens on the camera because it's not focusing right. He goes back to the car to get something that can fix it, but while Vanessa is alone, a light in the distance turns on. She grabs the camera and makes her way through the fictional heaven that is depicted through insomnia. While threatening Louis through the camera because she thinks he might be messing with her, one of the mannequin's heads turns to look in her direction. And right after that, she sees Jessica? Oh my god, hi. You look far worse than Sarah. Jesus, what the hell did they do to you? I love how we see her, but not Mitchell. Like, him and Brock are the only ones mentioned by name in this movie. Everyone else was referred to it as an investigation team. No mention of Jessica, Molly, or David. She gets spooked and Louis wants to pull her out of the entire thing and head back to New York. But Vanessa ain't no punk. She wants to see this thing through and prove herself. She's only had the job for a few months and she doesn't want to mess it up, which is admirable. Stupid, but admirable. Louis says he understands, but he's still worried about her. He asks her once again if she's sure about staying, so she decides she wants to talk to Russell and they head to his hotel room. We also get a little hint at the Abaddon tapes. You know, that mini-series that never came out? Love it when that happens. They get to the hotel and when they head inside his room, he's not there. But it seems he was watching footage from Hell House 2 of Mitchell and the gang heading into the hotel. Well, that's weird. He comes into the room and asks them what they're doing. Vanessa encourages him to talk to his people and reassure them or something. Like, no one feels safe in that hotel right now. And Russell kind of just waves her off. He doesn't seem very concerned about the whole thing. We check in with Harvey and he's doing a light test for the show. Although I couldn't happen to notice someone or something is behind him. Could it be one of our nightgown stalkers? I really wish we could learn who these girls are. Or were, I should say. I know they're victims of Tully's, but I'm assuming they were victims back when this was actually a running hotel. Also pretty sure this is the same girl that kidnapped Paul in the first film. She caresses Harvey's cheek and he calls for lights up and she's gone. Figures. We cut to Harvey and Jeff walking through the hotel and they start eavesdropping on Gregory talking to someone. It seems to be a woman and she's very flirtatious and creepy as hell. She tells Gregory that none of them are leaving and they're all being taken to hell. Jeff and Harvey have heard enough, but when they go around the corner, whoever he was talking to is completely gone. They ask Gregory what she looked like and he says she had dark hair, a gray t-shirt, and jeans. Wait a minute. Oh, he was talking to Sarah. Listen, I ain't gonna lie, Sarah was sounding real good. I would have fell right into that trap.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
And my theory might be correct because later in the meeting, Jeff agrees that it also sounds like Sarah. We cut to the interview with Robert and he starts to compare Alex and Russell, saying Alex had a lot of enablers around him, nobody questioning his authority or chastising his decision making. But as Vanessa says in the next clip, Russell and Alex are nothing alike, and we'll come to learn that very soon. We cut to the bar, everyone's talking it up and having a good time. Soon after, Russell joins them and for some odd reason he tells Vanessa and Louis they should not come to opening night. Why? This is so out of left field, by the way, but in my head, knowing what happens opening night, in hindsight, this was probably a warning. Russell was trying to save them, whether they know it or not. Russell gets up to leave for the night, and as he's leaving, Vanessa stops him and he whispers something in her ear. We don't know what exactly, but she feels that her and Louis should see Father Paulus again. They meet with him in the morning and she asks him if he's been receiving any money from Russell, implying that he may be having some banking troubles. We come to find out that Russell is liquidating all of his assets and donating them to charity. There's still still recording this, by the way, as Father Paulus tells them this, even though she said this was off the record. Dick move, Vanessa. But even worse, after this meeting, she publishes this? Why the fuck would you do that? I don't see the benefit of this whatsoever. Like, yeah, you could get a good story, but one, you said it was off the record and it wasn't, and two, why would Russell proceed to let you come back after that? He'd be stupid. Oh god, he's stupid. And it's being broadcasted to everyone in the room all at once? I guess she was attempting to stop the show, but she failed. I don't know why this irritates me though. Like, what she did was technically a good thing. She wanted the show to stop before anyone got hurt. I think it's mainly because Father Paulus told her this in confidence, and she said it was off the record, and proceeds to publish the story like the very next day. Jeff Harvey and the rest of the crew are also very confused / concerned. Jeff especially. But Russell's like, we open in 2 hours, I don't have time for this. So they all scoff and walk away. And all he has to say to Vanessa is,
Nice try.
that's it? If I was Russell, I would have cussed her ass out too. She should have gotten all of the smoke instead of Jeff. We then cut to some unseen footage of the Hell House crew. And oh my god, look at them. Oh, I miss them every day. Their chemistry is just so good. I'm assuming this might be taking place during that brunch we saw at the end of Hell House 2, when Alex was discussing his finding of the Abaddon Hotel to Mac. We get some nice moments with the crew, but while they're leaving, we see a familiar face. Russell freaking Wynn, wearing a scarecrow outfit. Why are you dressed like this? And then we cut to Jessica, Molly, and David discussing their plan to find Mitchell and get into the Abaddon. And while they're leaving, Russell is there again. Seems like Mr. Wynn here isn't telling us everything. I mean, I could have guessed that, but what does this all mean? Why can Russell be seen right before the deaths and disappearances of two major group events that just happened to occur in the very hotel he's hosting Insomnia in? Well, we're about to find out. That's right, it's final act time, baby. Opening night is here and the show is about to start. I won't bore you with all the minor details, although I will say Max's acting is terrible.
Divine and Faust, the earth will be mine. He's already a complicated soul. Like all men, he preaches good, but he does evil.
Ugh. Brother, ugh.
If this is supposed to be interactive and immersive, I'm taken out of it the moment he starts speaking. We also meet a character we've never seen before. Who is this? She doesn't even have a name in the IMDb. It just says crew member. But fun fact, it turns out this is Angela Moyer, the literal owner of Hell House in real life. The Waldorf Estate of Fear is an actual haunted house you can go to. So if you ever want to see Hell House in real life, there you go. She was actually really on board when the creators of Hell House approached her and wanted to use the place for a movie, yet alone 3. That's actually really cool. I'm glad she was able to make a cameo. Cutting back to the show, our ghostly clown friend has made an appearance. Hi, buddy. Are you also here for the show? Or are you just playing guard dog tonight? Alright, well, as long as you don't move, I think we'll be good. Someone else, however, is making an appearance as well. I know that bald head anywhere. Tully, is that you, my old friend? Happy of you to join us. We'll see him momentarily. Oh shit, that was sooner than I thought. Damn. I agree. What the fuck happened to your face, Tully? Get into some scuffles on your way back from hell? However, he seems pleased with Russell, complimenting him on his use of cameras and bringing more souls to be tortured in the hotel. So was Russell in on it the whole time? Was his plan to also capture souls? Nah, I don't think that's it. So many questions, and hopefully we'll get some answers. Jeff runs up to him and asks him what he's doing, and Russell responds with,
He's coming.
and came he did. Oh wait, that didn't sound right. Tully interrupts the show, and the lights go out, and when they come back on, he's gouging Gregory's eyes out with his bare hands.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, quite the opposite, random little white boy from 2014. Everyone's screaming and freaking out, and they all start evacuating. Jeff, for some reason, thinks it's a good idea to go down into the basement? Why would you do this? None of the show takes place in the basement. I get looking for stragglers, but now is not the time. And my point is proven 5 seconds later because the hooded hooligans are back and Jeff is dead as fuck. In fact, everyone is dead. They are murdering anyone and anything nearby. And I'm not gonna lie, this looks ridiculous. Vanessa is behind the bar staring in horror as people are being killed right in front of her. But the way some of these people are being murdered just looks goofy. Like, okay, this girl, throat being cut. Alright, fine, I'll let that pass. But what the fuck is this guy doing? Stirring a bowl of macaroni in his belly? Soothing a stomach ache? Also, seeing them actively kill people is a little weird for me. I kinda like the mystery of them killing you with otherworldly powers, not really showing the process. I mean, the only people we physically saw die in the hotel were Alex, Sarah, Paul, and Molly. Jessica was killed off camera, Molly was stabbed, Sarah was killed by Paul killed himself, and Alex was found hanging in the attic. Everybody else was a pure mystery. Like, we know they're dead, but we don't know how they died. Like when Brock and Malcolm died in Hell House 2. We didn't see that ghost girl manually hanging them from the nooses, so seeing they kill people normal as fuck is just kinda takes the magic out of it. Anyway, hysteria has broke out and everyone is flooding out of the hotel, and this time the hooded figures are coming outside, running after everyone and grabbing people out of their cars. We haven't seen them do that before. Just shows how strong the hotel has grown over the years. We cut to back inside and blood is everywhere. Everyone's dead. Vanessa sees the coast is clear and gets from behind the bar, and poor Jane got caught in the crossfire and gets dragged off camera. I don't remember that scene, but it looks ridiculous. In fact, all of this looks ridiculous. This is the fakest fake blood I've ever seen in my life. It's so obnoxiously red, like ketchup red. I could dip a fry into this. And then we get probably the worst scene in this movie. Hell, maybe the worst scene in the entire franchise. I promise you, this is bad. Vanessa grabs her camera and then she gets dragged down to the basement and her throat is slit. And you know what? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna let the scene speak for itself.
Who are you? You can't stop this. You can't stop hell.
Yep, that's an actual clip. In the movie, Russell pulls up like he's in a sumo wrestling match. They both tussle for a little bit. The ground opens beneath them and it shows hell. And then the hotel burns down. How? You know what? I don't think I want to know. This is the dumbest scene in the entire movie. The portal to hell in Hell House 2 looked better than the one in here. But yeah, that's the end of the Abaddon Hotel, folks. It burns down completely. But somehow everyone killed that night turns up completely alive the next morning. Jeff, Louis, Vanessa, they're all there. And we come to find out that Russell was never the bad guy. When he had that car crash years ago, he essentially did die. He was legally dead for 2 minutes. But he came back. And he had a new mission in life. Also, side note, she just happens to randomly find a picture of the Hell House crew on the ground. What are the odds of that being there? I'm sorry, that was so dumb. I just had to mention it. But she reflects on something Father Paulus said earlier in the movie. No man can close the gate. It would take an angel from God himself. And Russell was that angel. A bunch of tapes were found in the wake of Russell's disappearance, including the tapes of what happened to Mitchell and the gang, feeding into my theory that that footage hadn't been released to the public yet. But also some strange footage of the Hell House crew? What the hell? Oh, this takes place after they're all dead. They all check in with each other to see if they're all okay. They go to leave, but the door is locked, and Russell appears behind them. He says they all died here. The hotel took them. Sarah asks who he is. He responds with, "I'm the one who closed the gate, and you're the one who helped open it," pointing to Alex, of course. Russell says he's sorry this had to happen to them, but it's time to move on. Then he walks out of frame. It all comes back to Sarah as she remembers that night. None of that was a strange dream. It was all real. Most of the crew accepts their fate, and they all head downstairs to the bar. Alex is still at the door. All hope's gone. Sarah confronts him as he cries into her shoulder, the guilt of his decisions weighing down on him. Sarah takes his hand, and they both proceed to head downstairs. And that, my friends, is Hell House LLC 3, Lake of Fire. Oh, you didn't think I was gonna let it end on that note. As much as I actually like this scene, number one, why would there be a camera in the afterlife? What would be the purpose of such a thing being here, other than for us to see what's going on? Number two, how did they get this footage? You mean to tell me that a tape from the afterlife made it into the real world for them to use it in this documentary? That is the most asinine shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, I question how Mitchell got the footage from the first film when Diane and Jonathan were killed, but we learned that Tully was the one that was sending out those tapes. This, however, doesn't make any sense. Did Russell send this tape out from beyond the grave? It made sense for Tully because he manifested himself into the real world, but this is the literal afterlife. And number three, why did it take Russell so long to close the gate? In fact, he was at the diner right before Alex and the crew went to the Abaddon to open up Hell House. Why didn't you prevent this entire thing from happening? Or prevent Jessica and Mitchell from heading into the hotel last year? It says he wanted to study its power and figure out how to stop it, but there wasn't a specific thing that he did. He just came in, wrestled with Tully, and boom, gate closed. I wasn't aware we had to have a WWE match in hell for all this to stop. Silly me. And number four, last but not least, they implied that the footage from Hell House 2 hadn't been shown to the people yet, since they found the footage after Russell's disappearance. But if that's the case, then why would media still proceed to distribute the footage? Was this Jeff's decision? It doesn't sound like a Jeff decision. I don't know, maybe he just said fuck it. It just makes the timeline all wonky for me. Okay, listen, I didn't hate this movie. In fact, there were a good handful of things I enjoyed about it. But man, is some of the acting shoddy. And the special effects are awful. I wish I could say the practical effects were better, but they were not. And the plot points are questionable, to say the least. Have you seen Hell House LLC 3? If so, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. If you haven't, I say it's a decent watch. I mean, if you watch the first two, you might as well finish it out. There are 2 movies after this, but Lake of Fire is the official end of the story that started with the Hell House crew. At least kinda. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. Also hype it up if you can. My name is Greaves, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!